What up, deadheads? Welcome. My name is Davey, and today I'm going to be showing you how to get, I don't want to say the perfect Jerry Garcia tone, but I'm going to tell you how to get a Jerry Garcia tone, because we don't want it to be perfect, because that would just be riding Jerry's balls, and we don't want to do that. We want to show reverence. We don't want to GARCIA'S, right? Right. So, I mean, because you want to be able to do the... You want to be able to get those tones, you know what I'm saying? Like, even with the... And that's just on the bridge pickup. You know, for other things, like, let's see here, even like, let's do a, like a Scott Begonias, is like a, telling you like the most important things that you need. Okay, first things off, your amp. Your amp is probably the most important thing, because how else are you going to make the sounds? Now, this guy's a little special because I've done some things to it. Now, this originally was a Mesa Boogie dual rectifier Blue Angel, but the head shit out on me. So now it is a 4x10 extension cab. It gives me, and since those speakers are older, they give me a much more warm tone to the things that I'm going for. And up top here, this is a customized Bugera Vintage V22 Infinium. And it's comparable. It's not the same, but it's comparable. Now, the most important, you know, you can go for a Fender Blackface if you've got $2,500 to spare. Most of you don't, which is fine. You can also go for a Mesa, but if you also don't have $1,000 to spare, you can get into like a Jens Benz. Those are more like, you know, you can find a good used one between $500 and $750. Those are really good. And this is a Bugera, probably the lower tier that you can get. You can also go for a Vox. You can get a nice Vox AC15, AC30. You should still be able to get the tone out of it. Now, these Bugera, I got this for $300. You can't really beat that. You have to go for all tubes. All tubes, you have to, or else you're not going to be able to get those tones out of it that you want, or that you need. Yeah, no digital, no Spider amps, bro. No Line 6s. None of that. No Fender Mustangs. None of that bullshit. None of that. You gotta go full tube. Now, I'm gonna tell you the most important thing about getting these Jerry tones. How you get that sound is from your amp. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to be on your clean channel. I want you to roll your bass down. Your bass needs to be down at 2 or 3 at most. And then you wanna roll your mids and your highs up almost all the way. Almost all the way up. I know it seems counterintuitive, but that's how you get these sounds. That's how you get it. The next most important thing is a reverb. Now, I always suggest you go for your built-in reverb. So get an amp that has a reverb tank on it. I think it always sounds better when you're going through the amp's reverb. I think reverb pedals are great and they're nice, but I think they're more suited for other instruments. I think they're more suited for keyboards, honestly. But if you have a good reverb pedal and it works for you, all the more power to you. But I like to go for the reverb that is built in. And that's how you get that nice, just like that swimming tone that Jerry had. It makes you bigger, makes those notes last longer. Now, moving on from that, the next best thing you need are your pedals. Your pedals are so important. And that doesn't mean that they're expensive. I mean, it depends on what you decide is expensive. Now, none of these are $20 pedals, but they're definitely not as expensive as $200, $300, $400, $500 pedals. Very important is a compressor. Your compressor is going to be a big deal. So that's with my compressor on. Now, if I were to take my compressor off, you see the difference there. It doesn't fill that range up as well as it should, so it just brings the notes up. It brings all that dynamic range up. It squelches your dynamic range. The next most important pedal to have is your overdrive. Now I run a BBE Green Screamer, which is basically an Ibanez knockoff, but it gives you what you're looking for. I've got a loop set up that is, the loop is Dear Prudence. So we'll... This is without the Green Screamer. With the Green Screamer. You see the difference that makes. Now, another one that is also very important is an envelope filter. Now, you're going to want to get an envelope filter. There are a ton of cheap versions online. You can go to Amazon and you can find a cheap knockoff. You can spend the ridiculous amount of money for a Mutron if you really want that sound. But I use a micro Qtron, and it gets me where I need to be. Now, you always want to run it on your treble, on your bridge. You always want to run it on there. So let's see. Fine. It's fine enough. Is it perfect? No. Do I want it to be perfect? No. No. Not trying to steal his sound. I want to sound like him because I'm in a Dead tribute band, but I also want it to sound like me because I'm also my own guitarist. So yes, I do take certain things, but that's as an influence. Jerry is an influence on my guitar playing. He is not my guitar playing. He is an influence. He's probably the biggest influence on my guitar playing, but I also have bits of Jimi Hendrix. I also have bits of Trey Anastasio. I also have bits of Robbie Robertson from the band. I also have bits of David Byrne. You know, like all of these people culminate together to make me as a guitarist, all of my influences. And Jerry just happens to be the biggest one. And yes, I do the Dead tribute band, Tennessee's Dead, but I would still sound like this regardless. And so there's also, you can also get your octave pedals. You also want a nice octave pedal, like a... It's always nice. I use a little Moore octave pedal. Does what I need it to do. I don't need to spend the ridiculous amount of money for a boss. It's fine. Now, probably the most important thing for pulling off a Jerry tone is just the way you play. The intensity in which you hit notes, your phrasing, that has a lot to do with it. Just all these things added together. Yes, you will have a Jerry sounding tone, but it doesn't sound like that unless you got it in you. Jerry's a melodic player, and if you are a melodic player, then you know what I'm talking about, where you hit the notes with differing levels of intensity. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you have, thumbs up, give us a thumbs up, give us a comment, subscribe. That'd be a huge thing. And if you want more videos like this, let me know, because I can teach you a ton of dead songs. I can show you even more so. We can do like a breakdown of my amp. We can do a breakdown of my pedal board. I can go into more depth about these things. So I hope that this was informational. I hope that this gets you guys out there playing more dead tunes and sounding more like Jerry. But again, we want to remember that you want to sound like you. Yes, you can show Jerry reverence. Yes, you can play these songs and try to sound close to that, but you want to be you. Like this music is for everyone. And you don't want to sully Jerry by ripping off his tone. Yes, you can sound like that, and yes, but I want you to be you. Be you with this music. You know, Jerry would have wanted you to interpret it whatever way you wanted. You don't even necessarily have to sound like him at all, but for what I do with Tennessee's Dead, and I'll leave a link in the description to our channel over there so you can see some of the stuff that we do. We try to update these things. So my tone is what I see as an updated version of Jerry's tone, because I don't want to sound like I'm coming through his JBL speakers. I don't want to sound just like him, because there are parts of his tone that I don't like. There are parts of his tone that I wish were beefed up more, that I wish weren't so paper thin at times. So that's what I try to do. I try to beef my stuff up. I try to go for more of a thick, fat sound from like the early to mid 70s from them. That's what I go for. Even when we play the 80s songs, I'm still playing through my BBE Green Screamer. I'm still playing with this tone, even when we're doing those other songs that call for a different tone in Jerry's life. So this is just my tone. This is how I get there, and I hope that you guys get out there and play. So thank you very much. Peace out, fam.